Hello guys, welcome to a new video. In this video we're gonna review Canon 600D, whether it will be a good buy in 2021 or not. Let's begin the video guys. So here is how it looks like. I'm having the 1855 IS kit lens. So this is not a STM lens, so it's very slow in autofocus and it makes a lot of noise guys. And it looks like this. So it has this autofocus manual focus switch and this vibration control. So basically, if you are having some camera shake or your hands are shaking, it will help you get sharp and steady shot at a very slow shutter speed. From the top it looks like this. So it's a standard Canon dial, on off switch, ISO, and you can change between different modes over here, like the video and aperture priority, shutter priority, and all that. Here's the flash. You can open the flash by pressing the button over here, and then here is how it looks like from the side. You can put in the SD card from here. From the bottom, here is where you put the battery, and from this side it looks like this. So the good thing about this camera is that it has a built-in mic input, so you can actually connect external microphone to the camera to record better audio. And here you can connect it to the computer. So it has this micro USB port and also the mini HDMI port in case you want to connect it to external monitor or like a TV. So it will easily connect via this. And from the back it looks like this. So right now I have closed the screen, and guys, this camera has a flip out screen. So compared to Canon 550D, this one has a flip out screen. Rest of the features are pretty much same between those cameras. It's exactly the same sensor and same ISO, and all the features are pretty much the same. The only addition in this camera is this flip out screen. So it will help you a lot if you are blogging on the YouTube. You can frame and see yourself like this. You can see it in the frame, but this is not a touch screen. So you will have to navigate the menus by pressing through all these buttons, but that's not a problem guys. Even if you have a touch screen, you still have to press some of the buttons to navigate the menu. But this is very handy if you are recording videos on this camera, or if you have to shoot overhead, or like if you have to do like this. You are like holding the camera above your head, you can see on this screen by tilting it, or if you are having the camera towards the ground, so you can look into the LCD while taking the photo. And it will also protect the camera screen because you can fold it like this and put it in the bag. So it will protect it from the scratch, or if you bump it into something, it's gonna protect it. So guys, uh, I will put the technical specification in the video so you can see for yourself. But this is a 18 megapixel sensor, and it does have this anti-aliasing filter, so it will reduce the sharpness in the image. And the ISO range is from 100 up till 6400, and you can expand it to 12,800 as well, but I don't recommend it. Rather, you should try to keep it up till maybe 3200 if you want to get a clean image. And it has the exposure bracketing, and beside Canon 550D you can actually use a wireless trigger if you want to connect off camera flash in this one. Rest of the features are pretty much the same between those two cameras. Now, talking about the good thing about this camera, the build quality is pretty solid. And the second advantage about this camera is that this flip out screen is there, and the third advantage is that the price point. In 2020 you can get this camera for around 150 US dollar, which is really very good bargain price for this camera, because you can still use this camera in 2021 for taking photos, because 18 megapixel sensor is still very big. Even if you want to make like really large prints, 18 megapixel is more than enough. Believe me guys, even 10 megapixel is more than enough if you want to print it or you want to share it on the social media. The other advantage is that you can use all the Canon lenses, even the new STM lenses you can use with this camera, and they will go seamlessly really well. If you use a 50mm f1.8, you can get very good low light performance out of this camera and really nice images guys. Now let's talk about the image quality. So I'm gonna put the sample images that I have taken with this camera, in the video so you can see for yourself how the image is gonna look like. And personally, I really like the image. The only drawback I found was the dynamic range is a bit low compared to some of the Nikon cameras. It is around 11, and most of the Nikon camera in this same price bracket, they have a dynamic range of around 13 to 14, which is much higher. So if you are taking landscape shot or if you are shooting in challenging lighting conditions, so this will struggle in pulling the highlights and the shadows. But if you are shooting in raw, you can still pull off a lot of details from the shadows, and you can bring down the highlights. So still really good camera for. So I'm gonna put some of the sample video that I had taken with this camera so you can see for yourself. Okay guys, now I'm gonna try to autofocus on this guitar. So you can see now it's trying to hunt a bit. It is trying to autofocus on this guitar. Let's see now. I think it's in focus, and yeah, it's in focus now. Now we're gonna try to focus on this. It is hunting, still hunting, trying to hunt again and again. Very frustrating. Not yet in focus, and it's very noisy. So it's basically a problem with this lens and the body combination as well. Now we are in a better lighting condition. I'm gonna try to autofocus on this pillar, and it is trying to autofocus and it's in focus. So in a better lighting condition, it was very quick in autofocusing, even though it was a bit of hunting and focus breathing, but the autofocus was fairly quick compared to when I was inside the room. Now it's trying to focus on this tree. It's in focus. Yeah, and now we're gonna try to autofocus on those row houses. It's in focus. Still there was a bit of hunting, but it did manage. The problem that I faced with this camera was again the autofocus, because it's an older Canon camera. It's not the newer one with dual pixel autofocus. So all those newer camera with dual pixel autofocus like the 70D, 80D, 200D, 800D, and the M series M50 and all the mirrorless cameras, the RF mount cameras, they have dual pixel autofocus, which is so nice. That is the best autofocus system in the market. But this auto system is the older contrast detection autofocus system, and it hunts like crazy. I was having so much problem while autofocusing in video, and it makes a lot of noise, guys. This lens is very noisy. So if you are having a mic mounted on top of the camera, or if you are using the mic, internal mic of the camera, it will catch a lot of noise from the camera, so it will hunt like crazy. For example, can you hear? So you can hear the noise. It's so noisy. You can pick it from this camera as well. So this is not that recommended for video. But if you are good in manual focusing, you can pre-focus on some subject. For example, if you are doing some kind of a talking head kind of video sitting on a chair, you can pre-focus on that point in the chair, and then you can come back and sit on the chair and you can start recording, because if you are put it on manual focus, the focus is not gonna shift. So now the question whether you should buy this camera in 2021. Well, you can if you are into photography and you just do some kind of a casual video, because this can shoot in full HD, and full HD is even more than enough in today's era, because 90% of the video on YouTube are full HD, and it's gonna shoot in full HD 30 frames per second. So that's good enough. If you are doing some casual photography and some casual video, you can learn a lot from this camera, and you can get it really cheap for like 150 US dollars. You can go ahead with this camera. You will not get wrong in this price bracket. But if you are into serious video making, then maybe you should go for Canon M50 or 200D or 800D or maybe 70D or 80D. Otherwise, if you are just gonna do only photography and not that much video, you can go for Canon 550D, which would be a little bit cheaper than this camera, and you can get that camera in maybe 100 or 120 US dollar. So you have the option of both this camera and the 550D as well, whichever fits your budget. And personally for me, if I were to choose between the cheaper camera that would be good for photography and do also a bit of video. I would go for Canon 550D because that's exactly the same camera as this, and also it can record in full HD 30 frames per second. The only drawback is that it doesn't have this flip out screen, but if you can do without this flip out screen, you can go for that camera. But the main question, 2021, whether this camera can be taken, can it take good images in 2021? Of course it can. Okay guys, I hope you like the video. Please subscribe to the channel, share the video and press the like button. You can follow me on Instagram as well. I have the link in the description. And if you have any question, you can drop the comment over here or you can directly message me on Instagram. So let's meet in the new video guys with a new camera.